www.channelafrica.co.za, or alternatively on our YouTube platform where you can stream us there, and on at Channel Africa 1 on our social media platforms. So we bid farewell to ShowMax. This has had heads spinning. This week, Multichoice has announced that it will be shutting down ShowMax, ending the streaming platform that was once positioned as the centerpiece of its growth strategy in Africa. And the ShowMax board made the decision following a comprehensive review of the company's streaming activities. Now, Multichoice, part of the French media giant, they said that in a statement, Multichoice said the substantial annual losses experienced by the ShowMax business has proved unsustainable in the increasingly competitive and capital-intensive global streaming environment. Wow. Yeah, I thought the numbers spoke for themselves, but here we are. We are going to be speaking to award-nominated TV and film commentator Bafana Mthembu. Good morning, Bafana. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
How are you? Thank you. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, Matt. This is a massive announcement. Hey, honestly, it's I think it's catching everybody by surprise. But hey, it is what it is, huh?
Indeed, it is. It is a very big decision, but not shockingly. But I could say maybe it was a very long time coming.
Yeah, it has been
the
long
writing
time
was
coming.
written on the wall.
Yeah, it has been long time coming.
Yeah, because they spoke about it briefly. Yeah.
Now, ShowMax is shutting down. Multichoice is shutting down. What's your take on this from an African entertainment perspective?
For me, this is a big thing. This is such a big decision from Multichoice to shut down such a platform where a lot of content, like global content, and most especially local and African content, used to be based. And the thing is now, we are losing a platform in a nutshell. We're losing a lot of probably future shows that we could have seen. We also possibly might be losing the existing content that we might have been enjoying on the platform, because we don't know if they're gonna still reinvent another app to maybe get back all the content that we used to love, the wives, the Real Housewives from South Africa franchise, Durban, Joburg, and also in Nigerian franchise, which is Abuja and Lagos. We have a lot of content that we might possibly lose with this decision, but we're praying and hoping that at this they might maybe come up with another alternative, because this was a not financially savvy decision to keep ShowMax for themselves, because they were losing a lot of money. They were losing billions of rands with this platform. So maybe they were just trying to find a way to cut costs, but we don't know the future at this point in time. But we hope that it doesn't really mean that this is the real end. Maybe the end of this chapter for ShowMax, but the start of another platform.
Yeah, man. If they're saying that the numbers were not showing up, I guess with competitions such as Netflix, man, it's a very competitive world out there when it comes to these platforms. So let's hope that maybe a new one will be looming in the future. But losing content means people losing money. People's bags are affected. It's really
True.
It's really crazy. It used to be a big part of Multichoice's strategy. Now, why do you think it didn't quite take off?
Honestly, I genuinely think it had potential. Maybe there was a lot of bad decisions being made during the process, because one of the things that I got to find out that in a Multichoice, the whole platform wasn't entirely based in South Africa. So there were a lot of people coming from outside. And also there's another app that also exists, which is called DSTV Now, which is also part of what you call Multichoice. So having two apps that are probably doing similar thing, maybe that doesn't entirely work. Also the fact that the amount of content that they had to buy, because they had content that they had to buy from HBO. So also that was very expensive to acquire those shows and content. It is quite expensive. So for them to actually be able to be competitive, they needed to do that to make the decision. But in the end, I think it cost them a lot then to bring those content in, because at one point they were literally like scrapping, like the floor to get content out, and it was not really sustainable considering the fact that the amount they're spending on producing content, be it local, and also releasing the content that they are getting from abroad, because they need to compete with Netflix, right? So if you want to compete with Netflix, you got to get the world best shows as well. You
Yeah.
can't just bank on local content and everything. So I think the decision was really long time coming, as I said, but it was because of a lot of decisions were made, and they were not profitable for the platform, and they were like costing them a lot
Yeah.
more than they would recoup back the money.
So now, Bafana, can I now ask you a very contentious question, which I think maybe could have led to this final decision with ShowMax? Could this not be on the back end of the fact that, Multichoice's DSTV, the content itself was kind of dying down, which essentially will affect other platforms that are part of Multichoice? Because if you look at the content on DSTV, it's repetitive. And the only thing that one could say they still have their DSTV content, and they go to their DSTV content, is for sports and for continuous news. Other than that, the content that used to be so wow and riveting on DSTV, it's not that wow. It's not as riveting. It's not as captivating. So I think when you put those numbers from DSTV together with ShowMax and the content that is being put up, maybe together there is a loss right there. So isn't that something to scrutinize?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was one of the factors that the quality and the quantity of show that they have on their platform was really like shoddy as well at times, because people would complain about the lack of content, because
Yeah.
we would watch repeats and everything.
Yeah.
But I believe the main reason why Showmax was brought in was to allow people to have the ability to choose what they want to watch and also compete with Netflix. But I feel also with traditional satellite media and also streaming media, those are the two things that they wanted to like also boss in this industry and be able to get as much out of it. But I feel at the same time, the issue that has been there was that there's content that was only strictly limited to Showmax, which frustrated the satellite people. And there was also content that was strictly for streaming,
Yeah.
which was also frustrating, because you want to have all the content and all the options in the world. Because, like for example, Shara Ilembe, people will like that don't have satellite TV only got to watch Shara Ilembe once it was done. So obviously that was really such a frustrating thing for most viewers. Had it been maybe simulcasted in the sense of like while it's playing on satellite TV, they can also be able to like watch it on streaming service, maybe right after the episode. That would have probably brought in a little bit of difference as well. Also sports, I think the decision for them to bring in sports on streaming service was a no-brainer, because the current satellite model was the really like generator of like the sport is a real generator of the revenue on the satellite model. So for them, it kind of took them a while to actually try and create packages for people to actually be able to stream sports on Showmax, because that's what people genuinely love and enjoy. And it's because it's really not, it's nice and enjoyable. It's because it's everything new every day. You're not watching a reruns that have been happening for the past couple of weeks. So I think those are the only things that really been a problem. Also, they need to make a decision on what they need to do in terms of content the content they're creating. Are they going to be able to just make one platform which gonna bridge the gap between DSTV and also and Showmax, and then make it one thing? Because I believe that if they could bridge that gap and put everything in one thing, that could actually work, because people love DSTV still, but they also love the content on Showmax still.
Yeah.
So I think that's the gap that was there, that existed, and showed why Showmax was not sustainable long term.
But Fana, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to continue this conversation.
Tech Africa on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Mzansi, less than 100 days to go from 11th June to 19th July. Your national broadcaster SABC brings you every moment live. Watch on SABC3, stream on SABC Plus, and stay connected on SABC Radio. Download SABC Plus now and be ready for kickoff. SABC is the official broadcaster of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Tech Africa on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. Tech Africa on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Welcome back to Tech Africa with me, Kitty Petla, and we are chatting to Bafana Mthembu, who is a TikTok award-nominated TV and film commentator. Thank you for being with us, Bafana. So I wanted to ask you, do you think this says something about the challenges of running a streaming service in Africa?
I generally think there is somewhat true. That is somewhat true. Also, if you're now trying to target a market as big as Africa, Africa is one of the biggest continents in the world. So obviously there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of things you could do. And sometimes you have to consider all cultures, all parts of the world, of the Africa, to be able to capture the audience with the content that you're creating. So I think, yeah, it is difficult. I'm not gonna lie and say it's easy. Like the world is evolving. People are generally depending on a lot of their phones to literally keep going. Like there's a lot of things that are happening. Also, another factor that I believe that is really killing the streaming services is the illegal and pirated sites.
Yes.
It is the biggest phenomenon right now. I was watching some stats that the illegal streaming sites are making double what the normal legal streaming sites are making, and that is such a very big chunk of loss that these streaming services are making. Because if you're taking content illegally from the streaming platforms and then sell it for free, you are literally taking money out of these streaming services that sustain us, that continue to produce these movies. And the ending of Netflix is not just the end of the platform; it's the end of maybe careers for some creatives, like arts people, actors. They're not going to be able to showcase, because ShowMax was a big platform. It was able to cater for a lot of content. It had a lot of reality shows, movies, series, and everything. Now that it's ending, it's coming to an end, and possibly not coming back, it is going to be a difficult time for actors, producers, directors, and production companies as a whole to now get the work to actually be able to put up more content. We are going to go back to the traditional norm now of media, of which is like satellite TV, or also of which is very limited, because we can't produce as much, because we are strained because of how programmed the traditional media is. You can only play one show on Sunday, and you can't play maybe another show on the same Sunday. For example, on streaming media, you can have as many shows, and person can have the ability to choose whatever show that they watch. You can have thousands of channels or 200 plus shows playing at the same time, but choosing the right to know, I want to watch this. I want to enjoy this.
Yes.
And I believe that's what makes it so difficult to actually run. Those are the challenges I believe contributed to this demise.
Ah, man, it's a big challenge, but let's hope that something bigger and greater that is going to create more jobs for filmmakers, for content creators, for actors. I hope that there's something there, because, this is a massive, massive loss. And yet again, we have to just navigate and hopefully that find ways to move forward without ShowMax. Thank you so much, Bafana, for joining us. Let's hope to chat to you once again. Thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to wrap things up for the second hour.
Using Scholar Transport comes with